demonstration. Switch. I just dinged the snot out of it and took a hunk. Paul Reed Smith, that's awesome. Builds character, right? Now for this, another guy was thinking about taking one of these out on tour with a more heavy band. For that, we're going to come over to the first channel with the gain completely dimed out, and we're going to bring the presence up to about 7. This one is a drop D. And we're going to put my standby first. Nothing else on. Not with the mid scoop, that's with the mid up. Now we're going to take the presence up to around 8. Put the presence all the way. Back where I normally keep my presence is around about 3. You get much mellower. Actually, I've been running around 5. Now if we took that same sound and we scooped the mids, it's going to be a totally different kind of... Now we're going to scoop the mids with the presence on 7. Take the presence up to 8. All the way up. Now, the little quick explanation is on this too is when I was asked to do both these videos was right when I was in the process of doing some changes to my head. So the types of sound I'm getting out of my V3 right now aren't necessarily stock, but then at the same time I don't think they're that far removed from the stock sounds. What I did to mine was I switched out V1 and V2 for, I was using the name of the company. They're not Mullard. It's not RCA. It's a TAD. It's a TAD tube, which I was told is basically a Mullard style 12AX7 reissue. That's what I'm using the V1 and V2. The other change I did, and probably the more drastic change I did, is I took the EL34s out and had 4 6V6s installed, which of course I had to have the bias and the voltage adjusted. So the head at full power is only running run about 50 to 60 watts, and then if I run it in half power mode, I'm running between about between 20 and 30 watts. I'm running in full power here, which is at 50 watts. Like I said, using 4 TAD 6V6s. Now the thing is that using the 6V6 tubes blossomed my bottom end a little bit. In the clean, made the clean a little more. Made the clean sound a little bit better because the 6V6 is closer to the 6 is in the 6L6 family. But anyway, the preamp section, the topology of the preamp section responds a little bit differently with the drop in voltage and the 6V6s installed, and it does kind of take away some of the harshness. It does drops the gain a little bit, if you can imagine that. Even with this is kind of a lower gain sound than what I had before. That's a little bit lower gain actually than what I had before, even dimed out, but it's still lots of gain. But it does change a little bit of the character of the gain. It makes it a little, to me, it makes it a little bit more musical, a little bit more toneful. The other one sounded good too. Another big switch that I did too was I found that what little fizziness I heard that I didn't like was more of a product of the Carvin GT12 speakers. I think this amp sounds a lot better with Celestion GT75. I changed speaker cabinets. I'm using a Fender HM412 right now. Anyway, those are the things that that I've changed about the setup that you have to take in consideration with what I just played for you. It is not an exactly stock head right now, and I'm not using the matching speaker cabinet. If I were going to get this amp or play this amp out live, one of two things I would consider doing. One would be I would definitely either steer away from the Carvin, the matching Carvin cabinet, or I would get the Carvin cabinet with the vintage 30s in it. Like I said, if you like the sound, think about the 6V6 power drop, and I'm also running the TAD Not sure which ones they are. They're the Mullard reissue tubes in V1 and V2, which I think goes a long way in helping smooth everything out. And also, I'm using like a Celestion GT75 knockoff. There are a lot of companies out there making a GT75 knockoff. WGS speakers and Eminent speakers, which I highly support. They're both from Kentucky, which is where I'm originally from, so I believe you can't go wrong with either one of those. I think both those companies make a GT75 copy. If not a GT75, I think you can find a lot of any speaker that you could come up with that is kind of soft on the highs. I think will complement this amp. This has been Gillen H2O, another gear review. This was for third gen or another guy, I can't remember exactly, but the other guy was wondering how it would do in an extreme metal project situation. Gillen H2O has been gear review. Thank you for checking it out.